Yo, najua most of us tumesikia this saying that faith can move mountains. What if I told you that faith can really move mountains, not metaphorically, but literally? Jina ni Wandra, I'm an artist, songwriter, rapper, singer, everything. Saizi niko na project out, inaitwa YIN YANG, it's a rap mixtape. I'll talk about it more huko mbele. Kwanza big thank you to the noise making billionaire kunipatia this chance kuongea kwa this platform once again. I think ni like my second time if I'm not wrong. And hii platform ni a very interesting platform because it allows you to just speak your mind. Hakuna any specific thing unafaa kuongelelea. You just say what's up, whatever is in your mind, and I guess that's kind of therapeutic. Kwanza nakumbuka aliniambia nifanye hii episode a few days ago na jana nikamtext nikamwambia manze, akili iko blank, sijui niongelele nini, unaweza nipatia kitu ya kuongelea? And then he was like, nataka uongelele maybe music and how the music industry is hard. Na nakumbuka tu immediately niliona hiyo text, I was like, sijisikii kuongelelea music, like I'll talk about it later, but nataka kwanza kusell like the personality. Nataka you guys have a peek into my mind, what goes on in my mind before you get to the music. You get, and immediately nilisoma hiyo text, I just figured out nitaongelelea nini. So I hope you enjoy. Yes, acha tuanze. Tuanze by kusema. Tuanze na what I was talking about earlier, about faith and moving mountains. I genuinely believe that with enough faith, you can literally move a mountain. I know that sound crazy. It's the same way naambianga mabeshte zangu. If anyone knows me personally, ama tumehang out a lot. Anajua I like saying kila saa, unajua unaweza fly ukitaka. And I know that sounds ridiculous bila context. Nikikwambia tu unajua unaweza fly ukitaka, you're like, umse kwani rada na hizo hazijashika. But I do genuinely believe that can happen. So let me explain a bit with some context. I believe that I believe that what usually limits us in life. Okay, basically nikisema alafu mtanisamea, my mind is usually all over the place. Sijuangi how to structure my points vizuri, so just twende tu na mimi. Anyway, what I'm saying is basically, you know the saying that faith moves mountains. Ama nikikwambia unaweza fly ukitaka, basically I'm telling you can do whatever you want, but also namaanisha in the literal form. And this is what I'm thinking, right? I feel like the reason why maybe hatujaona mtu akimove a mountain, probably kuna mtu but sijui, but the fact that the reason why hata mimi says nenda ni move a mountain ama where hawezi enda move a mountain is because tuko na already that doubt in our minds. At the back of your head, ukienda kumove your mountain, most of us, hata tukiwa na faith aje, at the back of your head uko na that logical reasoning yenye iko like, okay, this is impossible. And that's a doubt. I feel like hiyo doubt sasa ndio inatufanya we can't be able to like move a mountain or fly. And I guess there's levels to it. Kuna some things zenye zinahitaji so much faith. Like I'm assuming if someone was to fly or move a mountain, you need to be completely convinced, like in your head there's no doubt that you can move a mountain. But I might be wrong. Mi ini theory zangu tu, don't go and try moving a mountain ama kujaribu kufly useme Wandra alikwambia. I'm just saying. But I feel like in order for that to happen, you need to be like fully convinced. And all this to simply say that I believe that in this world, if you want anything with the right amount of faith, that shit can happen. And first of all, you have to note that I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not spiritual. I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in religion or design. So I'm not even trying to preach to you. I'm kitu kama hiyo, you see. Yeah, but I am a bit spiritual. Let's say I'm getting into spirituality, but I don't have enough facts, enough knowledge. Mi nasema tu my 2 cents from what I've figured out so far. Like I'm still getting into meditation as of zote. It's a habit and I'm trying to be consistent with, you know. But anyway, back to my point. Hata kuna I once read someone saying that prayer is the highest form of manifestation. And that explains to you why utapata mse anaenda anaomba kwa like, oh God, do this for me, do this for me, blah blah blah. And then unaona that thing comes to pass and they say that unaona God has answered my prayer. I'm not saying God hasn't answered their prayer. I'm just saying hata ukiangalia other people, atheists, other religions, they also pray. Even our ancestors, they used to pray and something used to happen. Because I believe personally, because they had the right amount of faith. And once you have that right amount of faith, then literally unaweza fanya anything. And nitajaribu kupeana a few examples that I can think of. Maybe scripture. Because nikiwa mdogo nilisoma a lot of the Bible. So, yeah. Hadi kwa Bible you see someone like, I think it was Peter who walked on water akiwa na Jesus. Someone like Jesus, as much as he was human, I believe sasa yeye in his head alikuwa anajua he can walk on that water. He had no doubt that he can walk on water, and that explains, in my own reasoning, and explain mbona ali walk on water. And then we see Peter akienda kufanya the same exact thing, right? And we are told ali walk on water for a while before he realized ana walk on water, and then he was like, oh shit, what the fuck, I'm actually walking on water. So I'm assuming in his mind alikuwa like, fuck, I'm walking on water. And then the doubt crept in sasa, and then he started sinking. And I'm relating that with like, imagine if he had no doubt and he just had your mindset ka Jesus, I believe ange walk on that water completely, right? And hiyo ni some of the few incidents zenye naweza sema, na nikiangalia in real life, in our real life, okay, kitu yenye ilinifanya hadi nianze kufikiria like that is one of my favorite artists anaitwa Kanye West. And I remember I was watching a documentary ile yake inaitwa Genius, if I'm not wrong. I think it's called Genius. And I remember watching it and being so inspired, especially as an artist. And I remember this guy was a nobody. This guy came from making beats. No one trusted him and believed in him as a rapper. Alikuwa tu ana make beats and people wanted him to stay on that lane of beats. Walikuwa wanasema, I don't think you can make it as a rapper. Na ukiwatch the documentary, you'd see whenever, everywhere this guy is going, and akisema, I'm the greatest, I can do this shit, nini. And mind you, see kama saizi, I feel like saizi everyone says they're the greatest, even if they don't believe it, people just say that shit. But kitambo, especially in the era that Kanye came up in, kulikuwa na like, gangster rap ndio ilikuwa imeshika, akina like 50 Cent, akina, hiyo ndio ilikuwa the type of music that was out there yenye na pop. And then you have this nigga anaitwa Kanye, anakuja looking corny as fuck, amevaa hizi maflannel shirts flani. Kama unajua the story of Kanye, you know what I'm talking about, si ndio? And then he comes, he's like, I'm the greatest, nita prove that I can do anything, nini. And then he comes with songs like, and I wonder, like, compared to the gangster rap enye ilikuwa ina pop at that time, he came with a totally different vibe and it took off. And ever since, umeona the journey of Kanye West. Not much, si kila mtu ata-agree that he's the greatest artist, but majority of the people wata-agree he's among the greatest. Na unaweza ona, he had that belief and that faith from kitambo. Na hiyo ni a very good example yenye mi hupenda kuangalia when I'm in doubt or anything. I look at this nigga and I'm like, say he had belief and he was convinced no one can tell him anything. From akwe young, this nigga used to say that he believes he's a god, which by the way, I do believe we are all gods in some way. Na pia bado naweza point to scripture, venye scripture says the kingdom of heaven, I think it says something like the temple of, our bodies are the temple of God, and then kuna we are made in the image of God. I'm not saying we are equivalent to God, but I feel like if I'm made in the image of God, then I'm a creator myself. Unaona, as artists, hata achana na as artists, as humans, we are creators. Unaona, we are some sort of mini gods. And that's why I believe with enough faith and manifestation, bro, I feel like you can do literally anything. Now the trick is kumaster yoyote. I feel like you need to have the right type of energy. You need to be at a certain level of spirituality to master all those things. Now personally, when I started getting into this shit, nili realize it works to some extent. I know it may sound crazy and whatever, but it works. I was talking the other day to my friend. not the other day, it was a while back, but she was telling me venye alijoiningi kampu akiwa first year. Mind you ametoka somewhere huko kambani, she's not well off, nini hivyo. And then alikuwa anaonanga Mirema, and then she's like, you know what, by the time nafika fourth year nitakuwa nimehamia huku Mirema. Mind you, she had no idea venye atahamia Mirema, she had no source of income nini, but she believed that by fourth year atakuwa amehamia Mirema na anajitegemea on her own. History alikuwa ananiambia senye anaishi Mirema already, she had believed that and it actually happened. Mi mwenyewe naweza kupatia some personal instances, not as big as moving the mountain, but ni vitu zenye mimi mwenyewe nimetry at a small level, just convincing myself na imeshape my reality. I believe we create our own reality through our minds. Naweza kupatia a small instance like kama nikianza kujifunza kucheza pool. Most of the times nikicheza pool, hata si nikianza kujifunza, like nikichezanga pool. When I was getting into this stuff, ungepata naenda kucheza pool, na maybe I'm supposed to, to pot a ball into a certain pot, sindio? And then in my head, nikijambia, I won't make it. Half of the time I don't make that shit. But nikiendangapo niko so convinced ni rahisi. I usually pot that shit. And I'm pretty sure hata wewe mwenye unasikia hii. In your daily life, kuna ile kitu yenye unaendanga with so much confidence kwa like, shit nitaifanya. And you go ahead doing it. You don't even think about it deeply enough. But if you think about it, because you convinced your head and you convinced yourself. Another example ni mimi nime-struggle with a bit of anxiety. Sindo, na ungepata sometimes ukienda kuperform kwa stage. Like, sikuwa nimeperform in a while, because in high school nilikuwa na such a terrible performance. Nikapata PTSD and I was like, nah. I like making music, nini, but every time napanda stage, I'm afraid that will happen. So sikuwa nimeperform in a while. But I remember my first performance in like, I don't know how many years. I was nervous as shit. Nilikuwa so fucking nervous. Unaonangele nyuko anxious about getting anxious. Sasa hivyo ndo nilikuwa. But then I remember just telling myself, you know what? Fuck it. Hii shit itakuwa the best performance ever. Nitajibamba and everything will go as planned. And I convinced myself fully. And trust me, senye nilienda kwa hiyo show, I did exactly that. This is all to say, I feel like through our minds we can create our own reality. Like our minds are the best things tuko nayo as humans, and it's sad because most of us hata hatujui hiyo. Like once you know how to control your mind, wanasemanga you shit what you eat, ama garbage in, garbage out. Ukijifeel with a lot of negative energy and you keep on telling yourself, no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Trust me bro, hata with what amount of prayer, wende upige magoti ya uambie Mungu, bro, as long as you don't believe it hapa juu kwanza, there's no way you're doing that shit. I mean, unaweza jaribu, but I don't believe unaweza do your shit. You have to first convince yourself. They say that hata ukilala, you have to pretend that you're sleeping in order for you to fall asleep. So if I'm an artist, I need to start right now. Nikitoka hapa hivi nje, act like you already made it. Tembea ni kama we, you're already that guy, bro. For it to happen, you have to act like that already happened. You need to convince yourself, convince your brain fully. And I'm not talking kama msee mwenye like nimemaster this art ama whatever. In fact, kama uko nje and if you relate with what I'm saying, manzi, you can reach out, because I need to know about hizi vitu, ni master hizi skills vizuri. But trust me, our brains, faith and manifestations ziko all interconnected pamoja. We can do great things with just our minds. Whatever you believe, you literally shape your own reality. And I watch interview all the greatest people yenye unajua. If it's your favorite artist, your favorite boxer, your favorite footballer, your favorite whatever. Atakwambia, before they got to where they are right now, they first saw it in their head. Your favorite artist atakwambia alijiona kwa hiyo stage akiperform, crowd ikicheki, fanya nini. Your favorite footballer alituambia alikuwa anajiona kwa hiyo pitch akicheza, kichanga watu kufunga hizo mabao. Your favorite boxer atakwambia it first starts in your head. And hiyo yote nikiongelea story ya faith, manifestations, maybe nimekuwa na some hits or misses nini, but all that I was trying to say that inaanzia hapa juu kwanza. It first starts in our head. And I'm trying to master that myself. And hopefully, nitakuwa another test to prove hii theory yangu. Anyways, I just felt like nilikuwa nasikia kuongelea hiyo stuff. Saizi ningetaka kuongelea about the music side sasa. As I told you earlier, I'm also an artist. And I've been making music since what? Since I guess nikiwa form 3 hapo. But generally being involved in music, nimekuwa involved in music since nikuwe mtoi. I remember at a very young age, nikisag my trousers and then I used to rap to mumble flows nikisikia kwa TV. Ningeenda tu na just saying a bunch of nothing, but I knew I wanted to rap. And then I started singing kidogo, nini. So I've been involved with music a lot. But sasa I think around hapo form 3 nini, I was like, let me try and write my own stuff. Na nakumbuka me writing my first song. Kwanza nilianza as a singer initially before I transitioned into rap. And I remember writing my first song, nilikuwa so excited. Anyone who wanted to hear, msee yote angenipatia masikio anataka kusikia bro. And right now when I think of the song, I think it was so corny. Hadi sikumbuki vizuri, but yeah, so I've been in music kidogo nini. And on the music side, chenye ningependa kusema ni I feel like most artists don't create what they really feel. I feel like, especially in Kenya saizi, utapata most of us, achana na most upcoming ama most mainstream stuff. It's what people create what they think people want to hear, which usually works, but most of the time inaworking for a shorter period of time, in my opinion. I feel like create what you truly believe in and what you truly feel, it may take longer to get there compared to like creating what you think people will fuck with. It may take longer, but itakupatia a much stronger fan base such that the day utapop, you'll never fall off. You get? Perfect example ni J. Cole, speaking of the fall off. You'll never fall off because una create this core fan base when you wanna relate with everything you say, everything you do, your music, whatever. Like, inakuwa such a strong, I don't know how to put it. I have a problem structuring my thoughts, but I feel like as artists and as creatives, you need to create what you feel like. And then tunafaa kuwork on our crafts so well to a point of no one can come and tell you that you're doing your own shit wrong. Get, like, if you're a rapper, andika hizo rhymes, andika, chora rhymes, do, like, if you're a singer, write songs, sing, such that hata msee akikuja from outside and then akwambia like hii shit yako ni trash, you just look at them and smile because you know you're the best at whatever you do. Unaona, you do it to the best of your ability. In whatever you do it to the best of your ability. So hakuna msee anaweza kuambia anything. And then I feel like with enough with good quality and consistency, it's inevitable utafika at some point, and I'm hoping that also happens to me. And even if it doesn't, I'm pretty sure knowledge inaweza saidia someone out there. Naweza kupatia even some examples. One of my favorite artists, mse kama Nyashinski, kila mtu ananijua, he's my goat, undisputed. But unaona the kind of music he makes, ni mziki zenye normally, okay, he's a bit mainstream, najua kuna watu watapeana hiyo argument ako mainstream nini, but when you listen to Nyashinski and his songs, you can tell the nigga isn't really trying to chase hits, ana make what he feels. And I feel all of us tunafaa ku take examples from say kama yeye, and there's a lot of examples in Kenya. And I believe that maybe, I don't know, okay, pia na get the point of like, especially in Africa ama Kenya, especially kwa nafanya kitu kama hip hop, it's a struggle bro. Like, wa Kenya and Africans wanapenda kudance, so ukikuja hapo unaroga mistari mingi utasikiza hivyo sana. But I genuinely believe that ukistay true to yourself, eventually it's inevitable bro, you'll make it. Na get the fact that pia you have to eat as an artist, so utataka pia make those mainstream hits nini. And I really have no problem with hits. Sina any issue with hits and whatever. If that's how you truly feel, as long as if you don't wanna believe. My only issue is, let's say wewe ni a conscious rapper, sindio, but unaona high work sana, so you try and when unadandia hiyo via hit songs. It might work for you, but I don't know how long that will last. Okay, siko so knowledgeable in that topic, staki kudibble sana huko, but I guess mna get the point. Alafu it's so fucking hard nimerealize it's so hard kuongea hivi bila no one asking you a question. Structure your own thoughts it's a bit tricky. Anyway, coming to my mixtape, as I told you, niko na rap mixtape inaitwa Yin na Yang, which ningependa if we ni fan wa lyrical rap ama just fan of Kenyan music in general, kindly check it out. Iko Spotify, iko YouTube. Yin na Yang. Basically, Yin na Yang, kama unajua the whole idea of Yin na Yang ni the idea of balance. Like you have to have balance in everything. And my whole thing, poleni, nimepigiwa kidogo, but as I was saying, my whole theme with the mixtape ni like peaceful mind on chaotic crimes. And with Yin na Yang, it's all about balance, like chaos and peace, evil and good, they all have to coexist. And nikifikiria about this mixtape while I was writing it, ama when I was coming up with the idea, it's like from a young age, mi nilikuwa msee, I had set my mind kukua like big by the time niko 17. I used to look up to Nasty C, and I remember msee aliblow up akiwa so young, and I wanted to be like him so bad. But every time ningetaka, I knew I was good, like in terms of music and all that, nilikuwa najua mi ni mnoma. And I still feel like mtakuwa very surprised mkisikia what I have in store. Niko na a lot of good stuff on the way, but nilikuwa najua mi ni mnoma, but I kept on procrastinating. I'm saying, nitafanya. In reality, nilikuwa na wars within me, because I'm like, I'm not really sure how I feel about this fame thing and being famous, kujeka out there. I don't know if I can handle all that pressure. But at the same time, I wanted to do it. So it's like I had that tug of war inside me, na nilikuwa na chase. As it called, nilikuwa na chase. Ni kama nilikuwa na run away from, naweza sema, my destiny ama my calling. So when I was writing this mixtape, when I was coming up with the idea, ilifika a point where I'm finally at peace with the idea that whether I'm anxious, whether I'm nervous, whether I don't want this, I have to do it anyway. I made peace with the fact that hii no destiny yangu. And that's where the peace comes in. Nikisema peaceful mind on chaotic crimes, that's where the peace comes in. Because at this point, my head was clear. In all my life of making music, I had never been that clear. I was decided that ino shit nataka kufanya. Nimeangalia time ni 4:20. If you know. Anyway, I was so convinced that ino shit nataka kufanya. So nikiandika, nilikuwa na intention. I had that intention that I want to be the greatest, I want to do this shit nini. For the first time, I felt like finally this is what I want to do. Sikuwa na any tug of war in my head, any tags, any wars in my head. I had decided, unaona. And now when you listen to the tape, ni kama unajua about hip hop, you know how mixtapes are. Mixtapes ni more of like just to show your lyrical prowess. Nataka prowess ama pros. Kizungu hii, you get what I'm saying, sindo? Like that's what mixtapes usually are for. It can be on your own original beats, on others' beats. And when I was writing it, unaweza sikia the hunger and I represent the chaos. How I'm rapping, the energy, everything, and I represent the chaos. And that's how I got the idea of peaceful mind on chaotic rhymes. And ukiangalia the album cover, I'm seated in an old car enye inakaa kama scrap metal, and I'm seated on top of it inakaa kama na meditate. And that's basically to signify that the car represents the chaos, because it's like a scrap, haina miguu, haina whatever, it's just ni kama scrap. It represents the chaos, and I'm on top of it meditating, which represents the peace. Alafu the environment, you can see it's green nini, and that's my whole head at the time. It also signifies the peace. You get, so like peaceful mind on chaotic rhymes. Sijui kona get the picture. And it's basically a mixtape wenye I'm rapping my shit off, bro. Like, when I was making that mixtape, hata sikuwa nafikiria on the lenses of creating a song. Like, I'm not saying aziko aina replay value or anything, but I'm just saying my head at that time ilikuwa like, Buddha, nataka kurap. And that's how I want to introduce myself into the industry. Nataka tu kurap. Later on, I might transition, go back to making songs, nini. But right now, where my head is, nataka kurap. So if you feel like umekuwa interested with what I've just said, kama it's your type of thing, nini, enda skiza Yin Yang by Wandra. Nita appreciate any feedback. Kawe ni rap fan, tell me how you feel about it. Ukitaka kunitafuta, niko everywhere as Wandra. Ama Wandra_10. I think watu watanipata hivi easily because even ndo nilijulikana at first. But go listen to it. Nipatie feedback, what you think, your favorite track. Hata unaweza niambia your least favorite track, your favorite lines, the most memorable line umesikia. And that's it for me. Jina ni Wandra once again. I hope umekuwa na a lovely day, a lovely evening, a lovely night. And thank you once again for the Noise Making Billionaire. Kunipatia chance, I've said what I had to say, nime clear my mind. If you have anything ungetapenda kuongezea, ama if you feel like it makes sense, ama if you feel like I make sense, if you feel like you relate with what I said at any point of this episode, if you feel like you don't relate, let me know. It's a discussion. It's napenda positive criticism, and I also love getting involved in conversations. It doesn't have to be toxic. We can always talk about it, and napenda watu wako na very open minds, like, because I also have an open mind. I'm willing to listen to your POV. So peace out. Mkumbuke msikize Yin Yang by Wandra. Also niko na match out, niko na makofia, and I'm working on the shirts. So pia uko interested in any of that, just reach out. Wandra_10 everywhere. Spotify, Wandra, search Yin Yang mixtape, utapata. Anyway, bless, have a lovely day, lovely night. Peace out.